And he looks me up and down in the elevator and he says, well, it must be prom tonight. And I said, no, we're much too old for prom. And then he says, well, I wouldn't think so with those breasts. So my intention today is listening, but I want to share with you a few things that brought me to why it is such an important choice today in terms of what I'm creating for myself and the people around me. Our listening is so important because it really shapes everything how we perceive everything. So the way that we listen to something, the way that we understand something, the way that we choose to perceive something shapes the way that we develop our stories and meaning about something. I was at a very she banquet. There was a lineup of all the executives and the board of directors, or all the bigwigs. And as you came into the event in the ballroom, you shake hands and hobnob with the bigwigs. As we're walking by in line, shaking hands, saying hello, goes to my boyfriend's lapel, says, oh, what's this? And as he looks down at the man going, what's this on his lapel, the guy goes, poot. So he was teasing my boyfriend in front of everybody in the line of executives in the greeting line, and has the audacity to go, oh, what's this? Bloop. And flips his nose like a child. That moment just shifted my whole evening. I was in a bad mood. I was literally waiting for somebody else to do something that would upset me and give me reason and validation to be even more upset than I already was. Later that evening, our friends and I decided to go get drinks. And we are in the elevator at, I think, the Ritz or something. I don't remember. We're going down the elevator, and there's 4 of us and an older couple. We're in the elevator leaving, and the gentleman across from me, who was white-haired, and his wife was, they were obviously in their late 60s, 70s, maybe late 70s. And he looks me up and down in the elevator. And mind you, I'm wearing this red dress that's cut pretty low. And he says, well, something like, it must be prom tonight. And I said, no, we're much too old for prom. And then he says, well, I wouldn't think so with those breasts. What? In front of his wife, in front of my friends, in front of everybody. I'm like, so my reaction, because mind you, I was already pumped up and ready to find something to get mad at. And boy, was this the thing, right? He says, well, I wouldn't think so with those breasts. And I take my hands, I grab my chest, and I push my boobs up out of my dress to really give them the most obnoxious cleavage. And I said, well, thank you. I'm very proud of them. And, we're going down the elevator, and the last 2 seconds felt like forever before the door freaking opens. We all walk out of the elevator, and everyone's kind of laughing, nervously. And I'm like, God, can you believe that guy? What a jerk. And my boyfriend says, what did you think he said? And I said, well, he was talking about my boobs. And he says, no. He says, I wouldn't think so in that dress. We had a really, really good laugh after that. But that story always sticks with me because when we are triggered into listening a certain way, everything that happens after that is listened through that same filter, that At the time, the filter that it was like drilled onto my ears at that time was anger, resentment, just nasty. I was just thinking everyone was just bad, mean, cruel. And that's what showed up in my listening. Even though the man said, I wouldn't think so in that dress, I heard I wouldn't think so with those breasts. So flash forward to last night. And my daughter and my son are in, that time. My patience is really being tested. They had been fighting all night long about stupid shit. And I've really been working on not letting any of that stuff get to me. So learning how not to take their stuff personally. It was bedtime and they were still going at it. My daughter said something really mean to my son. And he had it. He'll just go into his room and shut the door and scream in his pillow or, punch his pillow, whatever he does. Redirecting his frustration. So I go into the bedroom and I console both of them because both of them were very upset. We had a conversation. First of all, I had to really reel myself back in. I was mad. I was mad at my daughter and I was mad at my son for enabling her. They were doing something that just wasn't cool. Reeling myself back, taking a step back and thinking, okay, I'm the adult here. I need to be responsible for my reactions right now. I'm already listening through a filter of aggravation. Putting the love filter on and understanding that my kids are going through it. We were up a little bit later last night. I let them stay up because we were finishing a movie. My bad. My daughter was already going through it. And so they after they were fighting, they started going at it. I was getting upset. I reel myself back and I put my love filter on. I go and have a conversation with my daughter, go and have a conversation with my son. And from nowhere, my son comes up to Ella and gives her the longest, most beautiful, sincere hug that I've ever seen. I don't get hugs like that. I think it started with me changing my aggravation filter. Instead of always hearing for what was going to be more frustrating or piss me off even more, I was listening for the love. So putting that love filter on, which then opened the space up for my kids to put on that same filter without even really knowing what was happening. So me being responsible, the adult, the mom, putting my shit aside and my own personal feelings about everything, taking myself out of the story and allowing them to figure it out. They took their aggravation filters off, put on their own love filters naturally, and got a really beautiful moment that I wish I could. I captured in here, but sometimes you see things that your kids are doing. You're like, oh my God, I want to film this. I just remember that was a pretty precious, sacred memory that I'm going to keep right here. But it was because I allowed them to go through what they needed to go through, but I also had to be responsible because in the past, I would continue to be upset and continue to rattle on them and tell them, no this, no that, don't do this, don't do that. And I would have the aggravation, pissed off mommy filter on all night long into the next morning. Instead, taking a step back, realizing that they're going through their own stuff. I need to put my own stuff aside, put my love filter on, change my listening. And I think that helps to open the space up for them to show up as loving siblings. The intention today is to be conscious of my listening. I think it works hand in hand with space holding. The way that you listen to other people, the way that you space hold, the way that you let go of judgment, the way that you judge determines how your reality will show up. And last night, making the conscious decision to listen for love versus listen for more aggravation really made a difference. So today, I'm going to listen through the filter of patience and acceptance. And sometimes I hear a lot of people say, it is what it is, it is what it is, it is what it is. It is what it is. And that also depends on how you're listening to the is. So thank you for listening to my stories. I hope that, if anything, it's opened up something for you to realize how powerful you are in your own capacity to space hold and be there for another person. Regardless of your relationship, I think in the workplace too, it really makes a difference when you let go of the recurring story, that looping story that you have about someone, and you just focus on that compassionate piece of your heart. Let them in a little bit deeper, and you'll be surprised at what shows up sometimes. So have a beautiful day. Love this weather here in Southern California today. I know it's a little cloudy and cold, but it's good painting weather. So I think I'm going to do a little painting today. I love you. I wish you peace today. And you're human. We have emotions, and it's okay if we forget how to live, how to do it. There is no right way. Love you.